episode of Naruto Shippuden. Naruto and Sasuke have just conquered death, gained the power of the Sage of the Six Paths, and returned to the battlefield to rock Madara Uchiha's world. This episode was what I've been waiting for, my friends, when Naruto and Sasuke get their next big power-up and they start to finally battle against Madara on equal terms. This week's episode was interesting because we got to see a lot of brand new techniques, lots of twists and turns, and some amazingly creative ninja action. Lots of really crazy things went down this week, and it immediately opened up with Guy, who had just been defeated by Madara, and then Naruto immediately goes on the attack, punching Madara at point-blank range, sending him smacking right into the God Tree. That's when he finally decides to activate a new technique that we've never seen before. Thanks to the power of Son Goku, he's able to use this massive magma release Rasen Shuriken, which is so powerful, not only does it hit Madara, but it actually cuts the entire freaking God Tree all the way down. But as cool as the attack was, Madara actually uses this to his advantage because suddenly the tree starts talking to him, almost as if it's a character who was recently introduced into the series. Yes, there's a little bit of clues there, but what Madara does is he ends up absorbing the tree and becoming nearly immortal. Luckily, Sasuke decides to show up and demonstrate his brand new Rinnegan abilities. And I love the design of his Rinnegan, how it's only in his left eye and how it still has the Tomo from the Sharingan. And he actually has this really cool ability where he can actually see all of the secret techniques that Madara is using. And that's because Madara actually demonstrates his power with the power of Limbo. He actually has these invisible clones that you can't actually see with the naked eye unless you actually have the Rinnegan powers. And basically it's really cheap and overpowered, but I love the way it's animated where you get to see the other world, you get to see the white clone of Madara, but there is sort of a catch-22 to this. You actually can still damage him. The actual clone will still receive the damage, and because Naruto can sense them and Sasuke can actually see them, they actually have a really big advantage in this battle. And because Sasuke has this other cool ability where apparently he can manipulate space and time and actually shift himself and objects to a certain place so that he can actually set up these like really big, badass ninja attacks. And both him and Naruto combine their abilities in ways that remind me of the old school Naruto anime, where everybody would work together to create these ridiculously awesome, overpowered attacks, which don't seem like they make sense, and it seems like they've been planning them out for weeks, but they just pull them off on the fly. It really shows that Naruto and Sasuke really work very well together, and they really put Madara up against the wall this week, because it comes to a point where he's in complete desperation. He's getting hit by their attacks point-blank range, especially because Naruto uses this other awesome sealing technique, which again uses the tailed beast. He's able to create another form of Rasengan thanks to the power of Shukaku. And it actually looks like this Rasengan, which has the Shukaku markings all over it, and it's this magnet release ability which can actually seal the Limbo clones, and this gives Sasuke the opportunity to actually attack him and cut Madara in half. This is freaking great. And this is all followed after Madara just suddenly steals Kakashi's eyes, uses it to use the Kamui ability all in one fell swoop so that he can go to the other dimension where Obito is to obtain his other eye. This week's episode was action-frickin' packed, and it's definitely what I've been waiting for. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? Hell frickin' yes! Naruto and Sasuke teaming up is one of the best things I've seen in such a long time, and it's so nostalgic because it's all been leading up to this moment where they are finally going to squash their bullshit, work together so that they can save the world. This week's episode just really upped the ante in terms of the impact and the action and how crazy powerful both Naruto and Sasuke are, now thanks to the power of the Sage of the Six Paths. And I especially love that Naruto is using some brand new forms of Rasengan. Yes, you can joke that that's pretty much all he does, which is use clones, use Rasengan, but this combined with his brand new form, which is the brand new Sage of the Six Paths, like Sage mode, with the Kurama Chakra Cloak, looks freaking great. It's a perfect combination of the Sage mode and Kurama. He even has his very own staff, which he can use to deflect all of Madara's lightning powers. While watching that scene when he was shooting the lightning, I was totally thinking of Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. I could just imagine in my head him saying, "Unlimited power!" But it doesn't matter because Naruto and Sasuke were able to use their Sage abilities to pretty much just keep pushing him against the wall. But even with everything that they're throwing at him, brand new Rasengans, brand new Rinnegans, still it amazes me that one scene where he steals Kakashi's eye, he gets cut in half, he immediately uses Kamui and goes to the other world. Reading that in the manga was crazy, seeing it in the anime was just as insane. Really, this was just an action-packed, amazing episode which was focusing on the main characters and giving us even more build-up to the big final battle of this series, and there are still going to be some twists and turns, my friends. This is just the beginning of the amazingness of this final arc, and I think they did a pretty good job with it in this week's episode. The music cues were good, most of the action scenes looked really good. Of course, the artwork and the animation wasn't perfect. It wasn't Dragon Ball Super Episode 5 bad, but it was still very enjoyable and got me pumped up watching it the entire time. The minute Naruto punched Madara at the beginning of the episode, I was jacked up. And then you saw that big, badass, fiery Rasen Shuriken which just demolished that tree. Looked so freaking epic. It was so ridiculous and over the top that while we were watching it, we're like, wow, did it really happen that way in the manga? Was it really that nuts? Yes, it happened, and yet it's still only going to get better from here. I just cannot wait to see what they're going to do with it. Madara is still an amazing villain. His voice actor is amazing. He's clearly having a good time in this battle and excited over the prospect of actually fighting against these two sages. And of course, he's trying to put the pieces together about how Sasuke's actual abilities work, and that's because both Sasuke and Madara clearly have a connection which does go beyond blood, and a lot of that has to do with the whole chakra being reincarnated into both of them. But still, I think Sasuke's Rinnegan eye looks great. It's distinctive enough from the ones that we've seen in the series, you know, aside from just the ones that Pain and Madara were using. It's something new, it's something different, and it just looks awesome. And if only just getting to see the nostalgia of Naruto and Sasuke actually working together, that's like one of the biggest reasons to check out this week's episode. But also because we're finally back to the war, no more flashbacks, no more bullcrap. Here we are, at the war, let's enjoy this. On the technical side of things, like I said, it was an okay looking episode. There were moments where it could have looked better, but for the most part, this was a really entertaining episode of Naruto Shippuden that any Naruto fan should definitely check out. If you finish reading the manga, if you're continuing to watch the anime, you gotta check this one out. It was pretty freaking monumental. So, I'm gonna give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. Just a few points off just because the artwork and animation could have looked better. But overall, in terms of story, in terms of progression, twists and turns, and action and creativity, this was an awesome episode of Naruto Shippuden. So clearly I was just fanboying all over this week's episode. I had too many favorite moments to count, but I want to hear from you guys. What did you think about this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? Were you glad to finally see Naruto and Sasuke teaming up again? Did you have a favorite attack from this week's episode? And what's the deal with the tree actually talking to Madara? Please tell me your thoughts about that in the comment section below, and what you hope to see from the rest of the Naruto Shippuden anime series. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like this video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. You guys can also check out our weekly podcast show, The Powerful Nerdcast. You can find that on our YouTube channel, but you can also download the show for free on iTunes and at Rogue Intel, which is an amazing network which has a lot of different podcast shows on it, including us. You should definitely check that out, and we would really appreciate it if you guys could give us a quick little review on iTunes, just telling us what you like about the show. If you have the time, just write out a little one-sentence review. That's all you got to do. But as always, the best way to support our channel is to watch the videos, share them with your friends, and to comment on the videos. So thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.